Hey guys, I'm Doug,
I'm Chris.
and today we're going to talk about the number one most popular subject when it comes to running, which is what shoes do I need, Chris?
That depends, Doug.
And that is the classic answer. So today we will be giving you the most Army answer that can be given to any question. And the answer is...
It's MET-TC dependent, Doug.
Some of you may not understand what MET-TC is, but it's generally the cop-out bullshit answer that an officer gives you when you ask a legitimate question like, how much ammo should I put in my rucksack? Or how much water do I need? Instead of saying, well, you might as well bring beer and dope, usually an officer will say, well, Sergeant, that's MET-TC dependent. Essentially, when you choose your running shoes, it should be about what mission you're on, right? What the enemy is, what your time constraints are, what the terrain looks like.
Probably the most important one.
Yep. And then what is... Oh, what's the other one?
Troops available.
Ah, yeah.
So I don't know if that's actually relevant.
I
But
don't know if that actually matters. We can actually leave that out. We can just do old school MET-C. And then civilian concerns. Fiery neon green shoes are perfect for the Pride Marathon that you're going to register for, but they might not be ideal for your Army 10 miler. So just bear that in mind. What should I be looking for when I make a choice? Like, I've been to 100 Gucci running stores where they've made me run on a treadmill, and then they've told me the perfect shoe for me. And it has never been an acceptable shoe, much less the perfect shoe.
it's tough to actually know what you need after 5 minutes. So anybody who is a military veteran in the military or a civil servant, they know the importance of good footwear, which is crucial. But it takes a lot of trial and error, and this is really no different for running, unfortunately. I wish it was kind of a catch-all answer for everybody, but it really does depend on what your body type is. If you're a heavier runner, you might need some more support versus a smaller guy like me. If you are someone who overpronates, you need different kind of support versus that. But
what does any of this mean? Right? Like, I go to Dick's Sporting Goods and there's like 30 different shoes. Some of them look cool. Some of them look like spaceships. I get the difference between those. Like, I know what track spikes, I know what they look like. I've never needed them. But I know that, like, fad-wise, sometimes people are running in Vibram 5 fingers. And sometimes they're running in Hoka 1-1s that look like moon boots, right? Why are trends going like back and forth between less and more and zero drop and, 3 millimeters and stuff like that?
like anything else, some people have success stories. So now the rage is all the Nike Next Percent shoes that Kipchoge ran his sub 2 hour marathon. It just depends on which shoe is going to give you the most success.
It's got to be the shoes. Kipchoge's Nikes were the reason he ran a sub 2 hour marathon.
You got to kind of have some trial and error with the kicks that you're wearing. You just kind of see if they fit well. So mainly there's the upper part of your shoe, which is the fancy bright colors on a lot of them now. But the big issue I see with people like that is they want to have this shoe because they heard it's really good, but in reality that shoe doesn't fit you well. So the upper might rub in way different places than it would for somebody else. It might cause blisters and you're fucked anyway. So you don't want to do that. So you have to try and figure out when you're trying on running shoes where the upper fits on you. Is there any hot spots that are going to develop? You can just tell from when you put a shoe on if it's going to be something that's going to fit weird.
Is that why a lot of people want to go to like a wider toe box too? Because they're trying to eliminate.
Well, I'm going to the toe box next, Dave, so why don't you let me roll into it, all right?
I'll just go fuck myself.
You might as well. So as part of the upper the toe box is important because a lot of people like tight-fitting shoes. They feel like it makes them faster, which is a psychological thing that I do. I wear, sometimes when I'm racing, I have tighter fitting shoes than for training runs. But general rule of thumb, you want to have a toe box that is wide enough to allow your toes to kind of sprawl out, just so you're not smashing your toes into the front of your shoe or having them be constricted. So then that's how you get black toenails. Nobody wants that shit. No one wants blisters, none of that. So it's really important to have something that fits well and allows your foot to kind of spread when you're landing and
for
kind of pushing
years,
off.
I think guys were doing the tight-fitting shoe a half size up to avoid black toenails. Is that not the right strategy?
I would probably not recommend that at all.
Okay.
But there's going to be different widths of shoes. So you got to have, if you have a medium width shoe, you just kind of have to figure out. That's the one thing that the running stores are really important with is like they can actually determine how wide your foot is, and you can at least start there. It's a good starting point to have. But from there, that's the most important part of the upper. And then you got to kind of decide what kind of support you need, what kind of cushion do you need. There's going to be the insoles of each one of the shoes. They call it the sock liner.
Yep.
And there's going to be the outsole, which is where the rubber meets the road, things like that. So it's going to be how each one of these shoes kind of support you. And you'll kind of see how that is when you try them out. A little try and error. I'm sorry that's not a great answer for what people are looking for, but you can kind of get an initial idea from talking to people at the local running stores. But it's just looking for things that are going to support you well, that you feel like are actually not working against you when you're running. If it seems like you're not getting enough support, or there's an extra strain on your leg or your foot when you're running or trying these shoes out, then it's probably not going to be the best shoe for you.
I supinate.
Yep. Which means what, Doug?
It means that I run out, like on the outsides of my feet, right?
Sure.
I turn out. That being said, I spent years with people telling me I needed a support shoe.
Sure.
And every time I ran in a support shoe, it felt like I had someone like holding my feet from going the way I wanted them to go.
Yep.
I felt slower. My feet felt heavier. And then I went to like a neutral shoe, and they universally always felt better.
Yep.
But every expert would tell me that I needed this kind of shoe, and they suck. So sometimes, what we're saying, like METC is a total bullshit blow-off answer, but in the realm of running, I think body mechanics vary so much that it's really what feels good for you and making the right choice for the right terrain.
Which is also very important too, which is something we can get into. But also it's important to note that your mechanics might change over time. You want to train your body to have proper mechanics and just for yourself. I have really bow legs.
I do too. We're brothers.
So it's great, Makes me shorter, which I really can't afford anyway. But my mechanics will be different, and what's most efficient for me might not be the most efficient for you. But your mechanics will improve over time, so you might have to change shoes over time. And that's okay too. You might benefit more from more cushioning in the beginning and then less as you run more, but it's just kind of dependent. Now, to address the terrain concerns you're talking about, if you're running mostly on roads, cushion's good, and it's kind of, you're going to have different shoes that have motion control. With picking out a type of sneaker too is important aside from the cushioning, but you want to make sure that your foot fits well in it or it's not going to do its job. If your heel's sliding around, they have heel cups, which is basically part of the shoe and kind of supports your heel, so your heel's not sliding around. We talked about the toe box, but if your foot fits well in the shoe gets a chance to support how it's supposed to. If it's too wide or doesn't fit well, like, and your foot's moving around in the shoe, you kind of fucked from the beginning. So from Jump Street, you're going to have your foot not landing in the same position every single time, and it's not going to get the support it needs from the shoe properly. So finding a very good fitting shoe is also important. The outsole, where the rubber meets the road essentially, is dependent on what kind of run you're going to be doing. So the road shoes are going to have fewer ridges, not going to have as much grip on them because that's just what you need for running on the road. As if you're going to run on a trail, so different trail shoes have a bunch of just grips and more of a solid outsole, kind of, so you don't get hit with those rocks or those rogue branches or twigs. Like,
Once it'll clean out a little better for traction and stuff too, right?
100%.
But that wears out like almost immediately on the street.
Yes. They don't translate well, unfortunately. So if you're going to be wearing your trail shoes on the road or vice versa, then prepared to buy new shoes more quickly. Most shoes have a shelf life of 300 to 500 miles.
Which for most of you, you'll never run that far because you believe that running breeds cowardice. However, you're also the same people who complain that Concept 2 rowers and air assault bikes are too expensive. So go out and buy yourself a $40 pair of shoes on clearance and wear them out because it's the most bang for your buck.
I agree. That makes sense.
Most people are pieces of shit.
But this... I get why most people fucking hate running. I get it, because I see people, they have poor mechanics, they have ill-fitting shoes, they have to run on the roads every time, and it's all part of PT for unit shit. I get it. I know this is all very Army specific, but like, I understand why most people don't want to get in. Running can actually be fun if you have all this shit in order. If you have good sneakers, your form is getting better, and you're not just kind of fighting yourself. So shoes are really important. They're one of the main aspects to like actually enjoying the shit and getting out and enjoying every run that you have, whether it be in the track or getting out in the wilderness doing some trail running. Having it be an enjoyable experience versus a forced experience or something that's just one size fits all. I know I'm a fucking running nerd. I understand it. And you might not be.
I don't hate running, but it's a function of body weight.
Yes.
Right? Where it's like, if I'm 200 pounds, I do not like running. If I am 175 or 180 pounds, running is way more attractive to me. And as I lose weight, in Africa or wherever else, suddenly running is like, well, this is really fun.
Yep.
I missed this.
Yeah.
But then I also feel like, like it's bad that I can't like pick up my kid out of a bassinet or something. So I have to go back to lifting weights.
Well, there is a nice little medium, right? So you can be thick and be pretty fast. But I'm just saying, it's something that should be enjoyable for everybody if we just do it. That's more of a personalized experience versus just, hey, go.
Yeah,
so
for sure. If you put on a pair of shoes because you like the way they look, but they don't feel good on your feet, they're the wrong pair of shoes. And if you spend the $200 on an expensive pair of Gucci shoes and they don't work for you, don't force it. If it hurts and you don't like it, ditch that shoe, man. Just give it to somebody else or, leave it in your closet or throw it away. But it's not the right shoe for you.
Trade somebody. Shit, they might not work for them either. They might have shoes that don't work for them. You guys can trade. I have a random winter running tip for everybody with considering shoes in mind. So most running shoes are made out of this foam called EVA. It gets less responsive and less cushiony in the cold. Okay. So for everybody who's running in the winter right now in the shitty, anything under 35 degrees is when the stuff starts to get affected by it. If you're running outside and that kind of stuff and you have EVA soles, doesn't matter. Most running sneakers are made from EVA. Double up on the socks. Or make sure your shoes are in a warm environment before you go out the door for running.
If you found these tips to be helpful, which they probably aren't going to help you pick the perfect shoe, but they're going to give you a lot more perspective on what the perfect shoe might look like for you, ring the bell, subscribe to our channel for more content, and follow us at SOFLETE.com.